There we go. So, welcome everybody to our last culture chat for the calendar year. Today's culture chat is creating online cross-cultural games. So, very applicable to the work that many of us do. And it's an example of AI, of using AI in material creation. So, we have two experts with us today, and we're going to hear all about this and the work that they're doing in this space. So, it's a real treat. But come the new year, here's our upcoming Culture Chat dates, December or January 7th, 21st, 4th, 18th, and then as you know, it's every other week thereafter, so be sure to mark your calendars. And many of you have your own areas of expertise, so please get in touch if you'd like to present at one of our Culture Chats. I know some of you have been presenting. We're coming up for year six. I start to lose track. Year six of Culture Chat. And I know some of you have presented every year or multiple times a year, even Michael, you being one of those. And I saw Renata as well as someone who presents often. So if you want to try out new material, there's a particular topic near and dear to your heart. We're a community that welcomes that sort of presentation. We currently have our upcoming Crossing Cultures with Competence workshops. Due to request, we've had some more frequent dates. We're looking at about 3 to 4 times a year. There's currently a CCWC course right now actually taking place. And our next Crossing Cultures with Competence workshop is in January. Then we have some in-person ones scheduled, one in February in London and April in San Francisco. So this is where you receive materials to deliver intercultural training, some tips and tricks on running and launching your own business, and a time to meet with other interculturalists. We also have our international ITech, so intercultural training expertise certification. Our next submission deadline is February 1st, and I know a few of you have set up some time to meet with myself and Peter to discuss your submission. So, looking forward to those meetings. If you are interested, you can learn more about this on the website or set up a call to understand what this international certification is about. The Interculturalist Circle has all of our recordings for Culture Chat on YouTube. So by all means, and maybe I saw Nick, you've joined, you could pop this in the chat as well. Here's our YouTube recording so you can catch up if you miss Culture Chat. And we're also going to be starting a series of doing some interviews with some of our chat presenters who are interested in doing that. So without further ado, we have the pleasure and of having Michael. Sorry, just one second. Michael is joining us. As you know, he's a longtime Culture Chat member and presenter, as I mentioned, and he's taught cross cultural activities around the world for over 30 years. He's helped in the creation of the Lewis model of culture, which I know some of you use in your own trainings. He's an iTech certified senior trainer and a regular lecturer on cross-cultural negotiation at the University of Oxford and an adjunct professor at Zhejiang University. Hopefully, I've said that correctly. He runs his own company, which is called Michael Gates Cross Culture. So you can check him out there. He's pretty active on LinkedIn as well. But he mainly works with corporate clients around the world, and he is currently based in Helsinki. And joining him today is Ulf Änggård, and he works as a professor in the Royal Institute of Technology within the education programs and as well as AI. I'm going to turn it over to you two gentlemen to walk us through this extremely interesting topic, and the rest of us will be waiting with bated breath to learn more.
Thanks very much, Tasha, and thanks for inviting me and Ulf. And we're talking about using AI. I'm not technical, despite my surname, though I have been using AI through ChatGPT and Gemini and a few others over the last couple of years. But I've worked with Ulf for many years on a leadership program doing the cross-cultural element at the Royal Institute of Technology in Stockholm. And Ulf introduced me to some work that he's been doing on AI, and we've been using it for a couple of years now on programs. And it's all in development still. It's just one example of using AI to create learning materials. And we'll let you have a go at one of the a couple of the questions on it of one program, and then we'll put you into breakouts to discuss how you use AI. If you do, if not, then why not, and what are your fears about it, perhaps. But I'll hand it over now to Ulf, who'll be talking you through the program, what it is, and how to use it. So, Ulf, welcome.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you. Nice to see everyone here all around the world. I've been running executive education at the Royal Institute of Technology, KTH, for a couple of years. My background is from the IT industry. But what I've noticed has been that when we start putting games into the play, the executives that are usually just listening in, they are kind of switched on in terms of engagement. They lean forward, they start arguing in teams together, discussing, and they go into this competitive mode because in these games they're competing against each other in teams. So it's like throwing a football to a bunch of kids. That's they immediately start playing and they love it. So my name is Ulf Änggård, as I said, and I've been working with Michael for a couple of years, where he has been contributing to cross-cultural interskills. And I also teach AI, but to non-tech people. So I built the open courses in AI, but I have a mathematical and kind of coding background recently. So that's how I spend my time. I want people to understand what it is and how to use it correctly. So I live in the intersection between tech, business, leadership, and learning. And so today I would like you to see how AI can help you actually at this kind of cross into cultural skills. And you'll first experience how this kind of online session looks like from a learner perspective. And then we'll move into how do we actually create this? And we're going to build a customized game. So it's going to be a magical trick on stage, believe it or not. But we have AI to support us. And finally, you'll explore how you could work with this in your own practice. So the objective is this first part to show you how you could use it and how you can quickly transform existing learning content that your presentations are all about into an engaging game outline. We won't be able to create the whole game, but we'll do an outline so you see the kind of the process that we're going through. So I will be sharing a screen here. And this screen is giving you some, let me see, right now. It's giving you some, the interface of the actual game application. I'll put a session code and a URL in the chat, as you can see. So what you need to go into clarifies.com. You should press the guest button and then you enter a session code, as you see. And this session code will get you into this game. It'll be quite interesting because there are 52 of you. We never tested it with these many players. They usually work in 4 or 5 teams. So probably everything will crash, but we'll see. And you're all on here. So this is what me and Michael sees. We see all the players in session here. And once we're all set, we just start with a game. And I'll let everybody actually join before we do that. This game is about cultural skills in India. So excuse us from you being in India, from India, if this is not appropriate, what we put up here, but this is just an example. So, okay, we're 25 in. I think we'll just dive in. And if you haven't logged in, it doesn't really matter because you'll be able to follow me on the screen here as well. And what I do is that I choose to start the game. And by starting the game here, you enter into a scenario and then you move into responding to a question where you need to find it's kind of a quiz game, the most appropriate solution. And what I will be able to do is to see all your answers and then we can discuss about what the learnings are. So I press start game. We're 36 people now, so let's check it out. You should be able to see loading session and game.
Yes, that's what we see on the screen.
Good. So the students, the participant, you actually go through the scenario. So you're thrown into being an executive leader sent to India to oversee a critical merger, in this case, between your company and a local enterprise. And once you've read through that, this is a very short game in that sense, based in chapters. You just press next, and there you're thrown into the situation. And when you read through that one, you're in Mumbai. You press the tab question here, and here you get some choices, and you should actually click and respond to which of the choices do you believe is the most effective in dealing with this situation, in this case in India. And once you've done that, then I'll be revealing to everyone what is the right answer, what is the motivation, and how did you answer. So I'll give you a couple of minutes to read this through. And
Just to say, I'm not seeing this on my end. So is anybody else able to see it on the app when they're...
I'm able to see it.
Okay,
Yes,
great.
I'm
Then
able.
those-
Yeah,
I can
as well.
good.
Okay.
Yes, yes, it works. I can see it too.
Good.
Perfect. Then ignore me.
It made me want to get some chai too.
So from your point of view, you just press an option and there you either enter a motivation or just press submit. Usually we put up some local music when we're in class doing this. We usually do it in class, physically. And here the discussions are really starting in the teams. What I'm seeing then, or as you, if you would run such a game, is all the participants. And I've received 13 answers, 15 answers, and I'll just collect them here. And you can see that most of you in this easy game did choose the right answer, but not all of you. Some of you chose other options, but we'll go through that. So I'll just give you one more minute because so many has already answered. So there's a timer that goes down, and I think the important stuff here is to have speed through these kind of questions and then have the discussion. So so 31 have answered, 9 have not answered, or 8 actually. So And I'll put, let's see here, we got 5 more. There you are. You got 15 seconds left. Now, I won't be revealing the answers of all the others as I'm sharing the screen. This is something which is invisible to you. And we got 4 seconds left. And the time is out. So I will release the scores. And from your end, you will be seeing the scores of yours. And I will need to just do one more second here. Let's see here. Scoring. Yeah. As you can see here, most of you have responded to option C, saying that you interpret it as a flexible cultural practice where the meaning of time may differ and use the experience to adjust your expectations accordingly. And if you click that one, that card, there's a motivation why this is the highest score. So in this particular situation, there is a scoring. Not everyone did respond with C. Some of you did respond with one with A, which actually had a -8. And some others responded with option B here, so which has another motivation why it wasn't full scored. So this is the kind of the process that we're going through, and we're going through this one in chapters. And when people have responded, we actually go in and we go to discuss why this is before we go on to the next chapter. And the next chapter is then presented for everyone as a new situation, moving on in a negotiation or whatever kind of setting we have created. So this has been creating discussions. It has been created condensing learnings after, in this case, Michael has been holding his presentation about the intercultural skills.
And so, normally, just to make it clear, normally you wouldn't do this individually. You'd be split into teams. But because of the large numbers here, it's a bit impractical to do that. So we're doing it individually.
Yeah. Did it work for most of you?
Yeah. Yes.
I'm thinking from an IT point of view here, right? So, we don't need to play more games here or more chapters. They're just kind of repeating themselves, but put into different situations. The cool thing is really that you can create these kind of games for a specific corporate client, for specific culture, for specific learning objective. That's the key thing here. This is Michael Gates' own kind of learning space where he has a lot of his games. And if I exit here and I'll exit, you can see that in this case, there are 4 games here. One is about China. One is a collaborative journey, a generation bridge here. And as you can see, there's something called create games here. You can see this button, and this, I actually noticed that people don't do that. So we've done another one where we have a kind of a concierge service where we do create games from people's own content. And I wanted to go through that one with you. How does this work in the background? How is a game created? If you don't have any questions here. Any questions? Okay. So let's start and create a completely new game here. And and I just create game. So you can kind of log out. You don't need to kind of be on your screen. Just look at this screen here. What you simply define in the beginning is a player profile. Who is the game for, right? And the second thing is, who is the game? What is the role of, your participants in this game? Who do you want them to pretend to be? What kind of role do they step into? And the third one is, okay, what kind of company are they active in? Or should this setting be all about? Which is the kind of the entity game profile here. By doing this, AI gets kind of a clearer context together with what you're going to do next, having an uploaded content. So I would like you to tell me, just give me somebody shout out, who do you want us to create a game for? I usually have executive leaders, but you might have different people. Just give me one.
Young assignee abroad.
Sorry?
Somebody who's young and assigned abroad, his first experience abroad.
Okay, that's okay. So people that are going to play this game have the background as being young, newly
Newly assigned to their
young
first placement abroad.
professionals, newly assigned to an international position, right?
Yes, thanks.
Okay. Okay, so in this game, what do you want them to be? Any particular role? Just give me an idea.
Mid-level leader.
Middle manager. Middle management. Middle management. Okay. Middle management. And they're sent abroad and they're playing middle management, but in what kind of company or what kind of organization? It doesn't need to be a company. It can be any type of entity. Middle management in what?
Pharmaceutical company.
Okay, a global pharmaceutical. How's that spelled? Ceutical company, right? Am I spelling that correctly?
Yeah,
AI will
that's right.
understand.
Yeah, AI will understand. That's right. Okay, cool. Good. So now when we have done this, now is the core thing. Now, you tell me what kind of learning content, this is an intercultural skills setting here. So give me a country which this poor middle management guy is being sent to. It can be India, China, Japan. Yeah. Just give me an example.
Ukraine.
Yes.
Ukraine. Okay.
So I was about to write that.
Then in that case, I will do the following thing here, because you put me on the spot here. I do Ukrainian profile. Now I'm on ChatGPT, so I have uploaded Michael Gates Lewis stuff, about the triangle, and then I'm just creating the learning content for how is the Ukrainian corporate cultural skill profile. So in this case, I'm using ChatGPT 5.1. So it kind of goes into a lot, and it kind of condenses this Lewis model with a lot what is found on the internet. Okay, so I will get out a two-pager.
So far you did not have loaded Ukraine, you had some other countries. Is that the?
Yeah, I did have some other countries. I didn't expect you coming up with Ukraine, so
Sorry.
that was a new one. But that's part of the game here. So let's
So
see.
Is this your own LLM or is
Well, this is my
proprietary?
own workspace in ChatGPT.
I meant the app that you just showed us.
The app I showed you is a complete. The app is created by me. It's on Azure. It's a
Azure.
tenant one, and it's on Azure. You all get your own Learn space. Here
I
it's great. Yeah.
I use Lovable a lot. For those of you looking to build apps and whatnot, Lovable's very easy. So
Yeah.
shout out to Lovable. Sorry, I was just trying to help spill some time there.
Well, and I can say that Lovable comes from around the corner where I work, just one stair down. It's KTH Innovation. It's a couple of
Wonderful.
students that did create that. So they became filthy rich in too short time.
You can tell them I use Lovable almost every day.
Okay, yeah, good. I'm so happy. So now I did create the learning content for what the typical Ukrainian corporate profile is, and I will actually copy this into a
are you using any special bot within ChatGPT, or you just went and asked simple question from scratch, or you already had something
well, I did pre-prompt it. That's
Okay.
correct. And I did upload the Lewis model.
Okay.
Okay. But I will share this one with you. I'll first just open a new document and I call this Ukraine here. I'll call this and I save it as Ukraine. Ukraine culture. Bang. I have no idea what Ukraine culture is. I must honestly tell you. So now we go back to the game and we upload Ukraine culture. And now it's actually taking this Ukraine culture, and it takes roughly 1 minute and 45 seconds to digest this. And because we're doing that, I wanted to just talk briefly about, I heard you discussed AI in the last session and how some of you believed it was tweaked to whatever 25-year-old Silicon Valley guy. At least that's what Michael told me. But I'll give you some proof that it's not, or proof. AI is trained on data, and it's usually all data that's on the web. However, when they release these models like ChatGPT 5.1, they use something called RHLF, reinforced human feedback. And it means that a lot of time before they release the model is spent by humans to fact check, to say this is good, this is bad, this is we should tweak the model. And it's hundreds of thousands of hours that's actually spent. And this, depending on who does this fine-tuning, that gets imprinted into the model that is then released. And you can find today that in Africa, there are lots of these people doing this. So you can see parts which reflect the language of some Kenyan English. Some of you that use ChatGPT a lot can perhaps recall that the word delve is used quite a lot. And that's because the word delve has a high frequency of usage in Kenya than it does in any other country in the world, including England or the US. And you can see some of these other words. Testament is another one. It's a testament to blah, blah, blah. So it's not really Silicon Valley. It's more kind of African styled English. So anyway, what you see here is some learning objectives that came out of this document. And I will put this in the chat, which means that we have a couple of learning objectives, which this game is going to be built on. I'll just put them up like this here. That was too much. I'll put them in a document, and then you can read them through. Let me see. Those are parts. I'll put them in a document and send them to you. So when this learning profile, these learning objectives have been created, we are now creating an outline, a game outline based upon this. We're going to Ukraine and we're middle management and we're going to be assigned abroad. And this poor guy is going to be in the middle of Kiev and he's going to be faced with some tough decisions.
Just a quick question. There was no step that defined where our poor expat comes from. Isn't that an essential detail?
It doesn't have to be, because
Well, in my line of work, it does.
okay. Well, if you send to Ukraine, you're supposed to adapt to Ukraine. So it's
Well, it matters if the guy comes or the woman comes from China, Germany, the
absolutely.
US, Australia, Africa, or elsewhere.
I could have put in that this is a middle management from China, and the game would have adapted itself to a Chinese person coming to Ukraine. I didn't do that here, but
Okay.
the LLM would pick that up. If I would
Okay.
say this is a pharmaceutical company with headquarters in China. So
Okay.
so
That would make more sense to me. Thank you.
yeah. So that would have been. I'm not sure what it will pick up. I said it was a global pharmaceutical company, so it just says it has global headquarters somewhere. But it's totally adaptable in that sense. And this again, it's interesting because when it takes time for an LLM to respond, that's a good sign. When an LLM responds super quickly, it probably gives you a less qualified answer. Some of you, I'm going to go to ChatGPT again, and you see that there are models here. You have the thinking model and the instant model in that case. The thinking model is the one that really reasons with itself before it gives you an answer. So it usually gives you a high quality answer. You even have the research grade intelligence, and that takes around 20 minutes. I usually have only a 25 a month, I think, to use if you use this kind of subscription of ChatGPT. So,
Ulf, I'm just thinking, Ulf, that we ought to get into breakout rooms.
yeah.
I realize there's a
here
lot
you can
more
see,
there.
here, before we go into the breakout rooms, here you can see this is the game scenario that is, and I'll send this to you so you can have it in the breakout rooms. But it's your newly assigned middle management company. You first contact in Kiev is the formal start of the warm intent with chapter 1. You enter into boardroom. Coffee is offered. Your teammates suggest first names right away. Blah blah blah. It sets you in a certain situation. Now, if you're content as a creator of this kind of outline, this is where we start to really create the chapters. And in this case, we have 6 chapters, and there will be 6 chapters created. We won't be doing that in this case. But this stepwise approach of creating a game is what's in AI called agentic AI. In this case, sequential. We first create learning objectives, then we create an outline, and then we dive into creating the details. So it's very much a reasoning model in steps, right? But once we have created this game, this create chapters, you would immediately be able to play the game as we did play the game before. So that's how easy it is really to create a customized scenario here. And so that's it. That's it. I'll copy this one into, and I'll give you that one into a document, and I'll put it in a chat so you'll see. Now, nobody forces anyone to use a specific app for this. You can actually simply use ChatGPT to create games and chapters and scenarios. However, it's not as efficient, I would say, as game outline, Ukrainian outline, game outline. But you can, of course, do that. And I urge you to really try it. Let's see here. Can I share a document?
Mm-hmm.
Let me see if I can get a document out. Well, no. Wait. Okay. When you go into the breakouts file, here's the file now. I'll share it with you. Any questions so far before we go into breakouts?
Really quick question. On ChatGPT, you said you loaded the Lewis model ahead of time, and then you asked for Ukraine. Was it in the same chat or was it in a different chat? Because I noticed when I'm in a different chat, sometimes it doesn't recognize all the information.
In the same chat.
Same chat. Okay.
Any new chat is any context is called context window is always kept in the same chat, right?
Okay, should we move into the breakouts then? And because of timing, I think we're probably
absolutely
only be able to have 10 minutes in the breakout. But it's very simple. Talk about a cross-cultural topic you teach frequently. What sort of AI game you think could support that topic, and are there any benefits or concerns that you've got using AI games with your clients? And share information. You haven't got long to do it, but about the way in which you use it, or if you don't, then learn maybe from the others. So could we have people in the breakouts? Yeah, I can see you're assigning them. Yeah.
Yes. And yes, Renato's point was important. You do want to consider that cultural context that people are moving from and to. So we can talk about that when we return.
Yeah, sure.
Welcome back, everybody. We know it was a short time for you to gather together, but we wanted to take some time as a group to just kind of touch base and wrap things all together. So I'll turn it over to you, Michael.
Yeah, well, if there's a group who are willing to talk about what they discussed, please feel free. Syed, yeah.
So I gave an example where I recently used ChatGPT. I was asked to train dental equipment salespeople who are having difficulty making the sales with many of the dental clinics where the owners are foreign born, coming from many other countries, Asia, South America, Africa. So I thought in addition to just giving them information in the training, they need to do some practice. For that, I asked ChatGPT, create different scenarios at different stage of sales. The first meeting with the customer or closing meeting, and then provide sentences. How would you say that informally in the United States? versus how would you say that little bit formality with some respect, as you may do in some Asian countries, for example. So I asked them to create 30 scenarios. There were 30 people, each one got a card, and I asked them to go and talk to another person, read the formal to them, and ask them to read back how would you informal and how would you read the formal, and practice with each other by having the answers. You have one answer, they had one answer. So that was a very good way for them to interact with each other. And I could have written scenarios myself, but it would have taken way, way more time. But ChatGPT just created it rather quickly.
Yeah, and I think that's the direction that Ulf is moving in to make it more dynamic. Isn't that right, Ulf?
Yeah, I think you can kind of simulate. So rather than having chapter-based quizzes, having a state change. So you, depending on who you are, you move into different trajectories, just like any kids game or battlefield or whatever you're playing. It's a more dynamic.
Fine. Any other remarks from another group? Just raise your hand.
Any concerns from anyone?
Yes, we spoke about it. I don't know whether Carmela or Annette would like to do that. No? Well, we spoke about bias, possible bias, stereotyping that can lead to prejudice, which brings to the question about the framing of your prompts.
Right.
And be as specific as possible, as you can.
Absolutely. I think, there's starting to be some courses at university and college all around prompting. And how do you prompt these different LLMs? How do you QC? How do you quality check what you've produced? Yeah, so that's all really important. Joy, I saw you had your hand up at some stage. I'm trying to find you on my screen, but if you wanted to jump in and share your comment.
Oh, yeah, I think I actually am interested in the bias question because I think that can be something that could pop up and to be mindful of that. Something else that we talked about too is what do we consider gaming and what's a game? Because we kind of like what's considered just presentation and scenario versus gaming and gamifying something. So that was the other thing that we brought up. And then how do you gamify something when you are in person and you're doing mostly person? I mean, I think it's really easy virtually, but to gamify something and when you're face to face. So that was just some things we talked about.
Any thoughts on that, Ulf?
I didn't get the last thing with the gamified in person. You mean physically when you're in a classroom or just one-to-one?
Yes. Yeah, because some of us in our group were mostly one person's 90% online, the other person is mostly face to face. So we were talking about how would you gamify something even face to face?
Okay.
Considered gaming. Like when does it become a game and when does it just presentation?
Yeah, yeah. I guess you can respond to that, Michael, because
I mean, we did it again last week in Stockholm, and so the people are in a room, they're sitting around tables in small groups. Each table has a screen, and they work on the answers and the game in their separate groups, and then the scoring depends not just on individual answers; it also depends on the group answers. So if a group all select the same answer after discussion and it's the best answer, then they get really good points. Otherwise, you could have a group where people answer differently, and the points may not be as high because they've answered different things. As regards bias, I mean, when I've been creating games with this, and I've done a couple, it gives you the opportunity to modify. So, for example, you could even say to it, I've noticed some cultural bias in this. Can you examine that and improve it? And then it even marks its own answers. And, it might give it 4 out of 5. And you say, well, can you improve this further? Give it 5 out of 5. So it does its own self-correcting, prompted by you.
I do in large groups as well. In video games, you get XP, right? Experience points. So you can, gamify an activity by saying, okay, you're earning 20 XP here. The goal by the end of the day is to get 100 XP. So it centers the activity and shows kind of the reward basis if you're engaged and, everyone's contributing. So that tends to be more of a group way to gamify something. Maybe it is just a task that you would do outside of a gamification process, but you can actually gamify a task based on how you present it and measure it.
I do find the discussion most rewarding to these people playing it. Then they are highly competitive as well, of course, but that's a fun part of it. Well, I suppose we're ending this here, and I will be sharing my screen here, and if you want to play the Ukrainian game, you can go into the same start a new session and enter that session code. It's a 6-chapter game. You can play it all individually as a single player, and or as a hosted play, and then that was created during this session here.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing that. And thank you to our hosts today. As I mentioned, we will put this up on our YouTube channel and we'll continue the conversation around AI and how we can use this in our workspace. So thank you all for coming. And again, have a wonderful holiday season for those of you who are celebrating anything over this holiday season, and we will see you in the new year. Thanks for supporting Culture Chat. Have a great rest of the week.
Thank you, Tasha.
Thanks. Thank
you.
you.
Thank you, Tasha.
Thank
Thank